What up, what up, what up? It's your girl, King Show, and today we're going to be talking about fan fiction, but most importantly, Pennywise fan fiction. Yes, you heard me right. Not Bill Skarsgård fan fiction, which would be slightly more acceptable, but no, we're going to be talking about the clown. But no, I find it weird that people are surprised that this is actually a thing, considering I see girls, fall in love with clowns all the time, so this really shouldn't be anything new. So sit back, relax, and just enjoy the show. Let's get it.
I gotta call the ambulance when they start shooting.
Okay, let me chill out. But I am ready to kill a motherfucker in case shit get hectic.
Okay, let's go on with the video. That would just be our background noise.
What'd you say?
I was talking to the boys. I'm chilling with me and my boys.
Okay.
Hello, boys. I was excited about the big move to Dairytown. Okay, so this is called Pennywise's girlfriend. No, Pennywise's girl. By Pennywise's girl 69. She's probably 13. I'm hoping she's 13. But at the same time, I'm not hoping she's 13 because what? Let's get on with it. I was excited about the big move to Dairytown. I wanted to live my life by moving into a... She's talking about how she's leaving her old town because she wanted a more peaceful town, so she decided to move to Dairytown with this killer clown. Because, that's how we all do. We move to a place with killer clowns just because, we need that peace in our lives. And then, she moved from Los Angeles, by the way. And she talks about how she knows of the Losers Club that lives in Dairytown. But I don't know if in this story... in this story, there is no Stephen King. There is no book called It. There is just a killer clown. And she just knows of the Loser Club. So that's very telling, Pennywise. Sounds like a cute and innocent person's name. Pennywise. There was an earthquake, basically. Just I can preface this real quick. There was an earthquake. Because that needed to happen. Stop it! That's not a tree! My cat is playing with the Christmas tree. So the earthquake finally stopped. I tried to get up, but I felt a sharp pain on my head from the fall. I finally got up and I tried dusting the dirt away from my pants. Suddenly, I heard a giggling laughter, almost sounding like a growl behind me. I turned around and found a creepy clown standing in front of the well, just staring at me. Okay. Pennywise. Don't laugh. This is not funny. This is very serious literature here. Shakespeare could never. The one and only, he said with a chuckle. I read about you. You feast on the fear of children, and I'm guessing right, only that I have awoken because of a disturbance. That's not even literally correct. That's not canon at all. This is a very serious literature review, so let's be serious here. Yada, yada, yada. She talks about how nervous she is and how kind of excited she is. And then that's when the good stuff starts coming up. The good stuff. He talks about how he could smell her fear. Well, in the story is a he, but that's not canon either. But that doesn't matter because she doesn't really care about that stuff, unfortunately. I could smell your fear, he said while patting his red lips with his snake-like tongue. With a snake-like tongue. It gets kind of, He came over to me in a heartbeat and began stiffing my neck aggressively. His nose began digging deep into my bare, open skin on my neck. He began making growling sounds. You smell so good, he moaned. He started nibbling on my neck next to my jugular vein. I was scared to death. All I could think of is any second he's going to rip my throat like a hungry wolf. But he isn't a wolf. He's a demonic creature. Thank you so much for clarifying. I really needed to know that he wasn't a wolf, though, because, Pennywise looks a lot like a wolf. He has hair and stuff and eyes and a nose, just like a wolf does. So we just needed that clarification real quick, because without that, we would have thought he was a wolf, not a clown. She said, I believe werewolves are 10 times as strong as your... Wait, 10 times stronger than a werewolf or your typical Twilight vampire. Edward Cullen would be a match for Pennywise, even though they were both immortal, but you never know. The problem is she doesn't go behind the science about this. Science behind all of this stuff, really, in general. Like, what is the science behind demon, werewolf, and vampire science? How do you know that Pennywise, in particular, would be stronger than Edward Cullen or Jacob? What's Jacob's last name? Anyway, that's not the point. She doesn't go behind the science behind this. How do you know? I'm very curious. I don't know if I should be scared or if I should be aroused by this creature licking, sucking, and biting my neck. You know what? She makes a great point. You know, if there was a werewolf attacking me or a wolf in general, I would just get turned on. The idea of death just really, it gets me. You know what I mean? Pennywise was acting like a wild animal. He began licking the blood with his tongue. I need more. I want more, he said, begging. That's hot. I felt kind of hot having this creature begging over me aggressively. I was so sensitive on my neck. I kept trying to curl my toes in my tight shoes. I let out a small moan. Well, at least it was a small one. You wouldn't want anyone to hear in the abandoned house, you know. Leave me alone. Go away. Thank you. Oh, bite me. Let me be yours, I said while brushing his red orangey hair with my hands. Pennywise looked at me in confusion, with one eyebrow raising high like if he couldn't believe if I was being serious or if I was playing with him. But then an evil grin appeared on his red, shiny lips, and he started biting me hard on the neck. I yelled in pain, but it was also a turn-on. This is not funny. It's not funny. This is a serious, very serious. Seconds later, he started stripping and ripping my clothes off, leaving me bare skin and butt naked. He stopped drinking my blood and began examining me. He had a surprised look to his face. I covered my breasts. They were kind of big, D-cup size. See, the problem here is that she was specific about the cup size, but she didn't go behind the science of how Pennywise was stronger than Edward Cullen and Jacob. I call bullshit. Such a sweet girl. I want to taste you more, he said to me. I was still afraid that if he meant he was going to eat me or the other kind of taste. Man, I'm so dirty-minded. Yeah. He began opening my legs, exposing my vagina. He began exposing his snake-like tongue and started by licking on the inner side of my upper thighs. You smell so good, so delicious, he purred while laying his tongue on my skin. What does that even mean? Is this even English? Let's see. I was feeling totally aroused by this monster. What am I doing? This is totally wrong, but I don't care. I felt butterflies everywhere I can ever imagine. Sparks in my stomach, my uterus, my neck, my nipples, and my wet, throbbing pussy. I really needed that image, you know. You just really needed that, you know. I felt I was going to come soon to climax. I took one hand on the back of Penny's head and tried to push him more, begging him to keep going. My legs were wide apart. I was letting him explore me in all of my sensitive places. He sticked his up inside of me. Sticked his what? I can't understand you. I can't understand you. He put his what? I'm very curious. Okay. Anyway. He was amazing. Where did Pennywise know how to give great heads? Not one head. Great heads. Well, of course, he's been living here for a lifetime. He always watches humans' activities, and he knows everything that happens. Faster, I yelled. Pennywise begins to moan and moan. I let out a huge orgasm. Excuse me, miss, I have a question. How do you let out a huge orgasm? I'm very curious as to how you do this, because, you know, I feel like you know a lot. Considering, you know, demonic, you know, sciences and stuff, I also want to learn how you let out an orgasm. I'm very curious. Someone imagine this. and decided to put it down. And she thought that this was a good idea, and she really enjoys this. And I just want to say good job, and I'm so proud of you that you didn't decide to consult other people before putting this up. That really shows a great level of integrity and bravery, if you know what I mean. I was almost there. How can I tell? Well, my slimy clitoris was being more and more sensitive with every lick Penny was giving. My clit was going to throb faster, was beginning to throb faster. I'm so sorry. And my back began to arch even more with every lick. Faster, Penny. Penny obeyed and began eating me and picking up speed. Welcome back. Okay. So, basically, he eats her out. She goes into very graphic detail. And then she goes, I wasn't quite finished with him. I was still aroused, and I wanted to do more with the clown. And basically, she talks about how she begins to have penetrative penile sex with Pennywise. And that is not a sentence I thought I was ever going to say in my whole lifetime. But it is, because of very horny 13-year-old girls. Another sentence I never thought I had to say in my lifetime. Anyways, so she talks about how he has a normal human dick, and I have a question. Is it Pennywise pregnant? That's from what I understand. Is that Pennywise is pregnant? Correct me if I am wrong. I just don't think that that's... So she also talks about how people call her a crazy girl, and people are surprised. She uses this term exactly, surprised that she's not gothic because of her interest, which really isn't a good way to show the exposition. Maybe show how your friends are, how you are in everyday situations, something to give me a good sense of who you are as a person. Because all I'm getting is that your name in every Wattpad story ever, and we already seen that girl. We needed something new, something fresh, okay? You're like Jackie Jackie from House of Gold. Like, we need something with flavor, if you know what I'm saying. But, you know. Anyway, next part. So as she introduces Pennywise, and when she introduces Pennywise, she just goes straight for it. But before she does that, she talks about how Pennywise looks, and she doesn't really do a good job. So I wanted more emphasis on him, but she was too busy talking about her slimy clitoris. And you know what? I didn't need to know what that looked like, but I really wanted to know what Pennywise, in your mind, in this situation, what he looked like. And in my mind, I'm guessing it's going to be a clown, considering she does talk about how she put her hands in his orange hair while he was eating her out. And it's also something that I didn't want to imagine. So she talks about the, you know, anyway, let's talk about the setting and how she really sets that up. She didn't really go into detail about the house, but she did say, she said it was creepy. Wait. The squad's here. 10 weeks ago, and you get to just anyway, the house. So basically in school, we learned about this thing called show, don't tell, where you basically just show something. Okay, for example, instead of saying she was nervous, you would say her hands, her palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy, you know what I mean? But yeah, just an idea of what that means. And she just talks about how the house was very creepy. She doesn't really go into detail about that. She doesn't talk about the clothes she's wearing until they come off. And after... Hold on. Okay, let's talk about the ending scene. She said it was creepy. Wait. The squad's here. Anyway, the house. So basically in school, we learned about this thing called show, don't tell, where you basically just show something. Okay, for example, instead of saying she was nervous, you would say her palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy, you know what I mean? But yeah, just an idea of what that means. And she just talks about how the house was very creepy. She doesn't really go into detail about that. She doesn't talk about the clothes she's wearing until they come off. And after... Hold on. Okay, let's talk about the ending scene. It's not true. Anyway, the ending scene, right before, it didn't really close off with the same pizzazz as the sex scene. I feel like she just put all of her energy into that part with her and Pennywise. And she didn't really put that much oomph in the rest of it. And I really just needed more, you know, needed more of her background, about her parents. I thought that in the story she was like 16, 17. But it turns out she's a college student, but she didn't really go into detail about her majors, about the things that she was interested in. And that really bothered me. I wanted to get a good feel. I wanted to feel connected with her. Did she say her name? I don't know. Okay, so basically, how the scene ends basically is that Pennywise holds her, spins around a bunch, because she can't leave. Pennywise was just so... All of my family is hearing me talk about how hot Pennywise is, and that is just what I want to be known as, you know? Anyway, damn. So, because Pennywise was just so aroused by this girl, he rips all of her clothes off. So she can't just walk out naked. That'll be weird. So he holds her, spins around a shit ton, straight up Wizard of Oz style, and then they transport her back to her house. And he leaves her there, butt naked, and he growls, and yeah. That's basically what happens. And then in the next chapter, which I'm not going to go to because there's a whole ass rape scene that she enjoys, by the way, because, you know, everything's fine at the end because he brings her Chinese food. And that's just what happens. You know what I mean? I'll go into more detail later, but this video is getting way too long. So yeah. So I'll cover this next Friday. And yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed the show with your girl, King Show of Babylon. I'm outie.